Hello, this is going to be a short video that's going to go into character creation in the Fantasy Grounds Pathfinder 2 rule set using the recently released free Azarketi web module. Now this web module has been made available by Paizo on the web for free, and we've imported it into Fantasy Grounds and also made it available for free. You can actually download from this manual download link here, but I suggest that you actually add this into your cart and purchase it. You can't purchase a $0 amount on the store, so you can make a $1 contribution to a charity or purchase it as part of another purchase. Because if it's in your account, then any future updates for Fantasy Grounds Unity will be made and automatically updated to your system. So this is loaded into my library. I've just loaded a few entries into my library: the core rules, the newly released Ancestry Guide, and the Azarketi Ancestry Web Guide. And in here there's a reference manual, which is basically a recreation of the 6-page PDF that Paizo has made available on the website. There's a bit of an introduction saying that this is an excerpt from Absalom's City of Lost Omens, to come hopefully later this year. There's a few new weapons available, a couple of new traits available as well, and there's the uncommon Azarketi ancestry. So there's details about that in here. There's the various information about the Azarketi, and there's a few heritages available here as well. So there's 5 heritages there, and some feats and some additional information in the sidebars also. So the heritages, there's 5 of those available there. The feats, they're all available as standard data within Fantasy Grounds, so you can use these straight away. So this web supplement, it kind of goes hand in hand with the Lost Omens Ancestry Guide, because in there's also some additional heritages, additional information on the Azarketi available there. So there's a few more, there's 4 more heritages, and there's a few more ancestry feats available there as well. So these actually kind of go hand in hand, but in order to use the Azarketi within Fantasy Grounds, you need to have the web supplement, because that's the one that actually includes the ancestry. Sorry, go to the right entry that actually includes the Azarketi as an ancestry. So let's dive in and actually create a character. So I'm going to create a new character here. Off the side of the screen there when I was using it earlier. So I'll just call him, give him a test name to start off with. So for ancestry, just like with usual, when you first start creating a character, if you click the ancestry button, this is going to give you a list of all the ancestries that are available within the library modules that you've got open. It tells you the source of those various ancestries as well, where they're from. I've got the core rules, the Lost Omens Ancestry Guide, and I've also got this Lost Omens Azarketi Ancestry Web. It gives you a little bit of a summary of those, so note that the Azarketi is uncommon, so in theory you've got to check with your GM that it's okay to actually use anything that's got a rarity of anything other than common. So assume I've got that permission. Add that, click the Add to PC button, and it's going to offer me a couple of questions. The first one is we select an ability score that we actually add. Notice that you get Charisma and Constitution as boosts. You have Wisdom as a floor, and you get a free boost. So what I'm going to make a fighter, just to keep it simple for this demonstration. So I'll select Strength. And then we have the various heritages available to us, plus all the uncommon heritages as well. Plus all the versatile heritages, I should say. Heritages that can be combined with other ancestries. So if you want a bit more information on the various Azarketi heritages, we can click the Azarketi Heritage Summary button to see details about each one. If you want to see a little bit more information, we can click the link there to see more details about what that heritage actually gives us. If I'm interested in a versatile heritage, so I can see all the versatile heritages available here and see more information about those. Because maybe in theory I could have a Efreet Azarketi, an Azarketi who's got some Efreet salamander, some actual fire elemental blood in them. But I'm going to just keep this simple. I'm going to have an Azarketi heritage. You can see through the various things that you get here. Ancient scale Azarketi gives me phosphorescent dots that emit guiding light, has dark vision. There's various other things that I can get through here. The A down the left-hand side will give you an idea if there's any additional automation that automatically gets applied as part of this heritage. Some of them don't because they just have to be handled manually in gameplay. The rule set can't automate that particular ability. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with the ancient scale Azarketi. So I come down to the list here, select ancient scale Azarketi, and click on OK. And now I'm just going to review what's actually been done as part of adding that ancestry and heritage. So I'll just start from the bottom. Remember, this character generator tracker log starts at the bottom and builds upwards towards the top. That's just because it's easier to display within this Fantasy Grounds control to see that data. So we've got movement 30 feet. We've got movement 20 feet. Also swim 30 feet. That's available here. There's also various other entries that have been added to there. The various things such as size, medium. It's added the 8 hit points for this ancestry, and added things like the languages that I can speak and everything else. Then when I selected the heritage, it gave me dark vision. So actually, Azarketi have low light vision to start off with. It gave me dark vision, and it's also given me this character effect, which is light 10 torch. I give off light like a torch, so that's going to be interesting, and I'll show you how that actually works later. So that's everything I need to do there. It says add one ancestry feat, so I need to add an ancestry feat. So I click the ANC button here for the feat quick filters, and that brings up a list of the feats that are available to me, the Azarketi ancestry feats, and it's bringing in the ones from the web and also from the Lost Omens ancestry guide. I'm quite interested in this feat here. You dive into water. You basically, if you potentially leap, otherwise fall into water, taking no falling damage regarding the distance. So I'm just going to go with that because that would be quite cool. And you can see that has been added to my character. It says no automation applied. That's because you just got to handle that in gameplay. You've got to remember that you can do a perfect dive. If you fall into water, you don't take any damage. So that should be pretty straightforward there. And that's added that feat there at level 1, so and can refer to that in future. So the next step for me to do is add a background to this character. He's going to be a fighter, so potentially I'm going to be interested in ability boosts that are relevant to a fighter. I can see all of the core rules, backgrounds in here. The other supplements I've got loaded don't have additional backgrounds. I'm quite interested in the sailor. It's going to give me strength or dexterity. It's going to give me underwater marauder, skill feat. It's going to train me in athletics. Give me a law of sailing, so that seems quite good. I'm going to have that. Add that in. I'm going to have strength and constitution as the boost for this character. So it tells me, it's added this feat, underwater marauder. No automation has been applied. And so I have a look. You're not flat-footed while in water, and you can't take the usual penalty for bludgeoning or slashing melee weapons. So that's going to be pretty cool for me as an Azarketi having a swim speed. That'll be great. So I've added our background, and now to add the class. So we can just go down to the fighter. We can just review all the details about the fighter if you want to. Add to the PC, strength or dexterity. We're going to go with strength. Add to that, and then we've got a few things in red here that we need to do ourselves. So trained in your choice of acrobatics or athletics. So let's just go to the skills tab. We're already trained in athletics, so we'll train acrobatics. Train AZ test and a total of 3 skills, and just a reminder here, add one more trained skill if you increase your int in step 4. Well, I'm not going to, so I'm just going to train with 3. Maybe I've got a bit of society, I've got a bit of nature to do with the water, and third one, maybe I'll go with a bit of crafting, maybe, I create some things. So that's that created. I need to add a fighter feat 1 to here, so this is covered under the class button, so feats relevant to my class. So this lists all of the fighters, feats various here. We can see, click on that button to see various information about each of them. If we're not sure what the traits mean, we can double click on the traits and it will do a lookup into the open modules. So this sudden charge, I'm quite interested in that. Let's have a look. With a quick sprint, you dash up to your phone swing, strike twice. If you end your distance within melee reach of at least one enemy, you may make a melee attack. And note that it does, you can use that while swimming as well. So I can strike twice while swimming and make a melee attack. That seems pretty good for an Azarketi. But I just want to check those feats again, what they mean. So flourish requires too much exertion to perform a large number in a row. You can only do 1 per turn. Okay, that's cool. You may only use 1 action with the flourish trait per turn, yeah. And open, these maneuvers only work as your first salvo on your turn, so you must open if you haven't used an action with the attack or open trait. Okay, so this is pretty much sudden charge. I'm going to do earlier my turn before I do other attack actions or anything like that. So that seems quite cool. 2 actions, strike twice, make an attack, and then maybe my third action could be another attack. So I'm going to add that sudden charge to the PC. Again, it says no automation applied because that's something that you're just going to handle manually in the game. And it's added that sudden charge to my feats. It's also added the shield block feat that you get as part of being a fighter. It's added the class ability, attack of opportunity in there as well. So that's everything that I needed to do as part of adding my fighter class. Final step, add free boosts. So I'm going to go strength, dex, constitution, and wisdom. Give me a bit of extra wisdom to help with my initiative. And click that, and it says, do you want to add the default class equipment kit? So yes, I do. It gives me a couple of options here. What do I want to do? Additional that I want to actually add. Let's just see what it's added so far. Added the backpack, a dagger. So maybe I'm going to go with a longbow and arrow for ranged, and I'll go with a greatsword because probably I'll swim. So shield might get in the way of when I'm swimming and things like that. So just make those selections. Click on OK. And that's it. It's added those, longbow, arrows, greatsword to my character. On the actions tab, it's added those entries in there, and it's put in the right proficiency because we're expert in those weapons as a fighter. If I check back through the combat tab, it's added my hide armor that I got as part of that fighter kit and added the proficiency there, so that's all created that character. So essentially now I'm pretty much ready to play that. We'll add a portrait to the character. There's a few Azarketi portraits in here from the Ancestry Guide. So I'll select that one. And just as a final note, I'm just going to show you kind of what the scaled Azarketi feature actually does. That's a creature there from previously. So I'm just going to add that Azarketi to the combat tracker because effects only work when you're actually in the combat tracker. I've got the Fantasy Grounds battle maps here. And here we have Valeros, who doesn't have any particular vision available to him, but we've got Azarketi test. We'll put him on the map. And notice now that scales, the Azarketi scale feature is actually come up on the map, so we have that little bit of vision around it. So Valeros can see where the Azarketi is because the Azarketi actually has that light around it. If I click on the Azarketi, select the Azarketi, he can see a lot further because he's got dark vision. And when I go back to Valeros, he can't see that far. And if I move the Azarketi away and click on Valeros, he can't see anything because the Azarketi's no longer in view. If I did have a look at Valeros and perhaps wanted to get, he doesn't have any vision, that's why he can't see anything specific. But if I wanted to just enable a torch, carry a torch on him, then we see Valeros can now have his torch and he can move around. But because there's that little light kind of available around the Azarketi because of his his scale feature, which gives that radius around him, you can see that light until he actually moves out of direct line of sight to the Azarketi. So that's just a quick example of putting together a character using the new Azarketi Ancestry that's available in that free web supplement. Go and get it, add it to your cart, and purchase it with another item for greater than 0 value on the Fantasy Grounds web store, and hopefully you get good use out of it. Thanks for watching.